We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin. And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is from Heat Hot Sauce Shop, it is a crossover with Dawson's. It is the Sunny Citrus Habanero, and we do have the Dawson's here and here. Eventually kind of gets to that. Dawson's, I think, was a little bit more prominent. So this label is definitely a Dawson style. This waxy goop that I really, really hate on the cap. Also from Dawson's. And this just seemed like a fascinating sauce when I first saw it. It was long enough ago that they changed the labels by the time I actually got to it. But let's take a look at the ingredients. We have habaneros, white vinegar, extra virgin olive oil, garlic, sugars, those sugars being maple syrup here, grapefruit juice, dried goji berries, blood orange juice, and sea salt. Grapefruit and blood orange were to me just a fascinating idea because I thought they probably will pair really, really well with the habanero, but citrus and citrus isn't necessarily going to go with a wide variety of things. Here they've added some olive oil into the mix. Oh, there we go. All the Dawsons I feel kind of like to clot up the neck a little bit, but Dawson's, I think, makes some really interesting stuff. They're kind of like Torchbearer, I think, like that, and that they make sauces that are just fascinating. I don't know that I necessarily latch onto and love them a lot of the time, but I do admire what they're doing, and I think they're generally pretty interesting. This one, I actually like quite a bit. This is a really cool sauce. So you can see we sort of this tannish, almost light caramel color. Got a little sheen there. I'm filming this actually in a snowstorm. It's raging a little bit outside. I don't know if it will come through when we change camera positions here, but yeah, very nice looking sauce. You can see little bits of either berries or the habanero in there. Same with that right there. But yeah, let's just have a whack at it. The habanero goes so well. It's got that. It plays up in the sort of fruitiness of the habanero pepper here. And habaneros I don't always love. But I will say there's a fruitiness too. This really plays it up, but it also smooths it out with that olive oil in there. And then there's just a little, real small amount of the goji berries that kind of read through here. But the grapefruit juice is a wild idea. I'm not sure which grapefruit they use for this, but there is a nice bit of sweetness too with the maple, but it doesn't really read as maple. And then you've got sort of an undercurrent of garlic. It's very, very nice sauce. I actually like this one quite a lot. It's such a wild, fascinating sauce design to me. I really like what they came up with here. Dawson's definitely, I think they know their way around the sauce a little bit. So I got these, and these are shrimps, yes, but they are also the coconut shrimps. So I thought, okay, what would be really interesting, I think, is to pair coconut with the citrus and the goji berry. And of course the garlic a little bit. I thought that would make a really, really interesting dynamic. And it could be just awful. I'm not sure yet. I haven't tried this before, but definitely on fried foods, this is quite good. But let me get a baseline here. I haven't tried this particular brand before. So sometimes you get coconut shrimp that are aggressively sweet. These aren't. The coconut is quite good. It's very present, but it's a bit more subtle than some of the oversweetened coconut shrimps I've had in my time. So we're just gonna dial these on up. This isn't a particularly sweet sauce, despite some of the sort of sweeter components to it. Which is interesting to me. There's a lot of savor here, there's a lot of umami. And it always kind of surprises me, even though I've had this sauce, a few times just kind of playing around with it to get a feel of it. It always kind of surprised me because I expect it to be sweeter, more citrus forward, and it just isn't. It is very good though. What they delivered is excellent. All right. Well, I'm not sure this was a good idea. I was going to go with calamari, and I think I should have a more neutral batter. I'm not really sure that this works well with coconut. Not bad, but
Bad.
I forgot to mention this sauce. They gave an 8 out of 10 for heat, and I'm a little hard pressed to say that would be correct. I almost wonder how this would be in a. It'd be interesting to see it in a drink, I think. Well, it's not horrible. I don't think I would ever want to do this again, though.
Yeah, it's
It just struggles to find an equilibrium here. So I think that kind of, goes to the point where most of the time on chicken and fish and stuff like that, you have a fairly neutral batter. Obviously not on coconut shrimp, but. Is there I couldn't find pairing notes actually on the website. where you have fruit that tends to narrow down how flexible something is. If that fruit happens to be a citrus, it becomes a lot more narrow. We've got essentially lighter meats, chicken, fish, that type of thing. And that's about the extent of it. If it is still around by the time grill season hits, I don't think it will be, but if it is, I might give it a go on pork. I think you could definitely mix this in. It's got a nice creaminess to it. I feel like you can mix it in pretty well with like a salad dressing, assuming you have a creamy one. Maybe just use it by itself. Or maybe like a grain salad, like a garbanzo bean and quinoa salad, something like that. That would be pretty good on. It might be something I might have to try on shawarma, actually. The shawarma sauce was a dose of heaven. I just don't know that citrus is going to work very well with those spices. Even here, like coconut is not super outlandish or anything. It is kind of loggerheads here a bit. So I think this one is very lovely, very unique and inventive. But it also, I think, kind of has to be, given its own head and just let it run, let it be the star. I can't say that it plays super nicely with some of the other ones. Really interesting that so the grapefruit and the blood orange kind of combined to with the maple syrup. I think kind of combined to a general citrusy aspect, but I don't like. I love grapefruit, and I'm not getting a lot of the grapefruit vibe out of this that I was afraid was going to be there. I wouldn't want to either. Grapefruit is really a thing that has to be kind of almost by itself in a lot of respects. But this one, I think pairing it with habaneros is just so smart. They used the right vinegar. They didn't add anything with apple cider. Thankfully, the olive oil. If it's used well, it can really add a nice bit of creaminess to it, which is kind of what I did here. Heat-wise, they gave it an 8. I am going to give it a 1. Which is, I did that in the written review. You can check that out in the link below. I don't know where it is coming from. It's a habanero. And even though habaneros, I think, are the first ingredient here, there's a lot of other stuff in there as well. A lot of a smoothing effect when you add an oil in there. Sometimes that'll tinker with how hot something reads as well. So, and citrus is one of those things that a lot of people will try to use as a soothing remedy for high spiciness in foods. I don't know that I necessarily hold with that a lot, but I know people do that. So you have two things kind of working against this being a hot sauce, like a blazing sauce. It's really not intended to be, though. It's got a nice bit of lightness to it, despite that oil in there, and it's very, very lovely. I don't know what I was expecting exactly, and it definitely wasn't this, and this is just an excellent sauce. I could not be more pleased with this. I don't think. There's such a unique, delicate balance and combination of flavors there that, and that's why when you have something that is not really meant to be paired with stuff necessarily, with the coconut shrimp, it becomes too much, and it doesn't want to. Both of those things want to be the main flavor, and they both can't when they're together. They just don't mesh. So if you keep it on something relatively neutral, particularly your fried food, that is where I'm going to say is probably the best. But like I said, I am going to try it on if it's still around when grill season starts. We're at least a couple months away as I film this. I'm gonna try it on something that I've grilled. I'm not gonna actually try to use it on the grill. I'll try it later on something I grilled. I think it might actually work okay there. Once you get some heat in a sauce with oil in it, the complexity of it starts to change a little bit. So that might be something I do. Hopefully it stays around that long. I don't know that it will, but definitely I like this sauce a lot. So I don't know that I'm gonna hold back using it just for that. I mean, maybe I will. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, definitely for the branded stuff for Heat Hot Sauce Shop, I think they're definitely picking some really, really unique and kind of not so much with the garlic and habanero, and I've done a couple of those, but just with some of the other ones, I think one of the big fats they brought back, just very judicious sort of selection. It's kind of interesting to watch. I'll just leave it at that. This one, though, the results are quite good. So, but there it is. The Heat Hot Sauce Shop crossover with Dawson's Hot Sauce, Sunny Citrus Habanero Hot Sauce. Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.